Okay, this is the thicknesses of paint that I'm going to go through. This is tea, and you can see it's pretty light. It would be used for a glaze. It rolls around on the palette very readily. Very pale on the paper as well. And this paper is dry, that I'm using a number 12 round. So then that done, I can add more paint, and this will be coffee. So the coffee is, you can see it's bolder, but it still rolls around on the palette very readily. It moves well and will just be deeper on the paper. The 5 thicknesses are tea, coffee, milk, and cream, and then butter. I'm just mopping up the excess moisture, and then we'll add more paint to this. The paint, we're now mixing milk, so it will still roll around on the palette, but way slower. So the more pigment you have to water ratio, the slower it will roll on your palette. It has quite a lot of pigment in it. It will be bolder on the paper. It will not create a lot of moisture with blossoms or anything, so you're just going to pick up and paint the patch. This is milk, once again. And milk is a very common consistency that I use. And it's homogenized milk, not skim milk. Next will be cream. So I keep adding more pigment into that. And you can see it will barely move on the palette. It will move a little bit, sometimes a little bit more than others that I use, but it was really quite bold when it goes down on the paper. Again, this is dry paper, and you can see that the pigment just flows. It glides on the palette. It will always glide on the palette whenever I mix. So I don't want it to be stiff or sticky on the palette. It has to glide. The next one is butter, the last one, butter, which is straight out of the tube and has no added moisture, is not blended off, is just thick paint, and it can be used like a dry brush. It really is for using in very small amounts, or also when you add to damp paper.